You're with middleweight contender Jason Quigley. Jason, we're here at the Rock Gym in Carson, California. Talk to us about today's workout, my man.
Today's workout was as every other day is. You know, we're here to work hard, and that's what we do every day. We come in here, we're steadily progressing and steadily working on things to make our performances better. And that's exactly what we do in here. We come in here every day, we work hard, we go home, we rest, and we come back and work hard again.
You know, talk to us about training out here at the Rock Gym, because you got guys like Dominic Brazil, you got Oscar Valdez, you got Jesse Magdaleno, you got an Irish amateur stand-up by the name of Michael Collin. You got so many inspiring fighters.
Yeah.
Talk to us about being around so many great fighters.
All I can say about that is iron sharpens iron. You know what I mean? Success breeds success. And the thing about every fighter that you named, not one of us are arrogant, or not one of us are trying to beat each other. Every one of us are trying to push each other on to work as hard as we can together to get to the top. Jesse, Oscar have paved the way for the rest of us. They've shown us that what we do here is exactly what it takes to be a world champion. And it's up to us to keep working hard, to keep following in the footsteps, and to keep just, all it is consistency. Keep coming here, keep working hard, but also you have to come here and you have to give it everything, but you have to live the right life outside of the gym as well. You need to be eating right, you need to be sleeping right, you need to be doing the right things and resting after sessions. It's not all about just coming to the gym and working hard, it's about living the life.
Now, let's talk about your opponent on March 23rd. It's going to be on ESPN, one of the first fights that Golden Boy has signed with. You're fighting Glenn Tapia. Talk to us about the fight.
Glenn Tapia is a great opponent. You know, he's a great fighter. He's had a lot of great fights in his career. He's boxed some great fighters. You know, he's been in with the likes of Lemieux. He's been in with the likes of Kirkland. You know, Glenn Tapia is a top-class fighter. At the end of the day, you know, I gotta be prepared for Glenn Tapia come March 23rd. But when it comes down to it, I know what I'm capable of doing. And everyone else knows what I'm capable of doing. Glenn Tapia is a great fighter, he's a great opponent. But Glenn Tapia is another obstacle in my path, and he's there to stop me from getting what I want to get to. And I'm not gonna let no man stop me.
You know, there's been some mixed reviews about the matchup. Some say Glenn Tapia, he's washed up, he's a shot fighter. He got knocked out against James Kirkland. He was defeated against David Lemieux. Others say it's a good matchup to see where you stand, to see whether you're going to have to go the full 10, 12 rounds, or will you be the third man to stop him like the two previous fighters. What are your thoughts with the mixed reviews on this fight?
Glenn Tapia has been beat, but look who he has been beat by.
Exactly.
He's not been beat by mugs. Do you know what I mean? He's beat by top-class, world-class fighters. You know, I could talk smack, I could do whatever, but I know Glenn Tapia is coming in here. This is Glenn Tapia's shot to get back on top again. This is his shot to get back to where he wants to get to. But at the end of the day, again, this is my shot, and this is my time, and I don't care what Glenn Tapia brings to the table, I'm going to be ready for him, because I want this so bad. I've worked so hard for this, to get into this position, to get to this stage in my career. You know, and if Glenn Tapia comes as prepared as I am, and if he wants it as much as I am, it's going to be a great fight.
Fighters win, fighters lose. But in boxing, if you quit, it's basically the end of your career. Fight fans do not like to see fighters quit. They don't like to see fighters lose. But in MMA, it seems to be okay to have a couple of losses. Let's look at Conor McGregor. He tapped out, but yet, against Nate Diaz, yet is a big star and is still negotiating a fight against Mayweather. What's the difference between boxing and MMA?
To be honest, they're two different sports. You know what I mean? MMA is a different sport to boxing. I don't know, maybe fight fans are different, boxing fans are different than MMA fans. No, I think look, don't get me wrong, MMA has a lot of skill and a lot of talent when they're on the ground. That takes a lot of skill and a lot of hard work to be able to get into them moves, to be able to be grappling and holding people down for so long and everything like that. And you know, but there's a different skill level to boxing. You know, I think boxing is more of an art. It's more of a skill-based stand-up fight, whereas I think MMA is a wee bit more brutal. It's a wee bit more like street fighting and everything like that.
Right.
So I think the people that follow that maybe are like, hey, as long as you get in there and give it your all, it's okay.
Right.
Whereas boxers are more like, of course, if you get in there and give it your all, that's all a man can do. But at the end of the day, you know, it's about getting in there, being prepared, and not letting no man take anything away from you. You know, because boxing is it's a science of the sport. You know what I mean? It's an unbelievable sport. It's such a technical, tactical sport. Also, the amount of game plans, the amount of different fighters. Small, stocky fighters like to come forward and fight. Tall, long fighters that you have to get inside. They like to box and move. They're two completely different sports at the end of the day, you know. And it's everybody has their own opinions as well.
Mayweather versus McGregor. They continue to negotiate. They continue to talk that this fight could happen this year. Will it happen? And should it happen?
The way things are going, you know, I think it's going to happen. Things are building up now. Do you know what I mean? They're starting to tease us. All us fans and everything like that. They're starting to tease us. They're starting to throw bits and pieces in here and there to turn around and say, "Is this going to happen? Is it not going to? Yeah, it is going to happen. No, it's not going." And everyone's like, "Well, is it going to happen?" You know, and they're going to want it more because whatever you can't have, sometimes that's what you want most. And I think that's what people are trying to do. And that's what they're trying to do with a fight. But it's business. The two guys are very smart in their own right and in their own sport. Conor McGregor is the same as Mayweather in MMA, and Mayweather is the same as Conor McGregor in boxing.
Right.
They both have similar personalities. They like to talk a lot. They like to be controversial. They like to stand out there. They like to flash off, show the bling, everything like that. They're two very similar people, but in two completely different sports.
Right.
Conor McGregor versus Mayweather in boxing, Mayweather. Mayweather versus Conor McGregor in MMA, Conor McGregor.
And what's the outcome? A decision or a knockout for Mayweather?
Well,
What would it even be competitive?
Mayweather, look, Conor is a great boxer. Conor is one of the best boxers in MMA. But personally, MMA standard of boxing isn't that high.
Right.
The stand-up game isn't that high. I think Mayweather is going to be too... Look what Mayweather has done through the last decade in boxing. Conor McGregor has done what he's done, has done what nobody else has ever did in MMA. That's only over the last 2 or 3 years. Look what Mayweather has been doing consistently over the years, decades. You know what I mean? For Conor McGregor to step in there with a man that has mastered the game for so long and beat him, it's going to be a big shock to everybody. You know, as I says, Mayweather is the boxer, Conor is the MMA fighter. It's the exact same situation if Mayweather gets in the cage. It's going to be McGregor all night long. Mayweather won't stand a chance.
Right.
But I think in boxing, it's going to be Mayweather.
What are your thoughts on Vladimir Klitschko versus AJ? That's going to be 90,000 plus fans in the
That's
UK.
going to be an amazing fight. Youth versus experience. Will Klitschko's experience be able to tangle AJ up, be able to tire him, be able to show him something that he hasn't seen before? Because AJ has had his own way in with fighters, and that's not to say that he's been fighting bad fighters. That just shows the class of AJ. You know what I mean? That just shows how good he is. But Klitschko is a different beast. He's a different animal altogether. But he is at the end of his career. And AJ can become massive if he dethrones, or he is the champion. So if he takes out Klitschko, he's going to be massive. And you know, if I was putting money on, I would have to go with a younger, hungrier, more determined man than Anthony Joshua.
And let's talk about another countryman of yours, Michael Collin. Now, he is an amateur standout. He's turning pro, I believe, March 17th in New York City. What are your thoughts on him as a fighter and as a person, because he trains out here?
Well, me and Michael have been friends through the years on the national team, and even outside of boxing, we've been friends. You know, so Michael is a class act. He's a massive talent, and I think he's going to go a long, long way in the professional game. Of course, the professional game is a lot different than amateur. There's not too many people that can convert and transit into professional boxing from amateur boxing, but I think Michael is definitely one of them, and you know, it's going to be exciting. Look at the Irish fighters that's coming through right now. You have the likes of Michael Conor, you have the likes of Carl Frampton, you have the likes of Katie Taylor. This is unbelievable.
There's a lot of great Irish talent out here.
You know, and it used to be Barry McGuigan era, Wayne McCullough era, Steve Collins era. Now you're having 3-4 eras all put together. This is amazing.
Yeah.
For boxing, for Irish fans, for everything. This is amazing. You know, and I'm delighted to be in that bunch and to be part of it as well, because I want to bring pay-per-view fights back to Ireland. I want to bring big-time boxing back to Ireland.
Let's talk about another fighter who trains out here, Dominic Brazil. He's going to be fighting on the undercard of Washington versus Wilder. How do you see Wilder versus Washington turning out? And if Dominic is victorious, could he get the shot of the winner of Wilder versus Washington?
I think Dominic, if he gets the victory, which I'm positive that he will, definitely deserves a shot. You know what I mean? He gave AJ a great fight. You know what I mean? Compared to some of the other lads that, as soon as they felt AJ's power and his ability, they just can't afford it.
Yeah.
Dominic stayed in there and showed a lot of heart, and excuse my language, but showed a lot of balls as well. You know what I mean? So Dominic definitely deserves a shot. I think Wilder will come out victorious against Washington, as I haven't heard much about Washington. You know, I don't think he's been to that level that Wilder has been at. You know, but heavyweight boxing, boom, one shot can change everything.
Change it all.
You know, so Washington's in with a massive chance. It's heavyweight boxing, big hitters, big bangers, carrying a lot of weight behind them shots, you know what I mean? So it's going to be very interesting, and I just want to wish Dominic all the best now in February, because I think he does definitely deserve the shot when he gets his victory.
You know, just a few days ago, Oscar De La Hoya, your boss, your friend, celebrated his birthday. What are one of your most memorable fights about Oscar?
For me, it's very difficult to pick.
He had a lot of great fights.
You know, in particular, I just love the passion, and I love the way Oscar fought. You know, he got in there every time, and it's not only the way that he fought, it's who he fought. Oscar didn't care. Oscar just wanted to be the best. You know, Oscar went out there and he fought whoever. Whether his team maybe says, look, Oscar, this is the wrong fight right now. He's like, no, I want to do it. Instead of waiting 2-3 years till he was ready, or you know what I mean, the way some fighters do it, Oscar's like, let's do it. You know, and that is something that you can never buy, the respect of fans.
That's true.
You know, you can never buy that. People always look at Oscar De La Hoya as a man that didn't avoid nobody, that fought his heart out all the time, and that was just an absolute warrior when he got inside their ropes. And that's what a lot of fighters, that's what every fighter wants, but not every fighter is willing to do what it takes to get that respect. And you can't buy it, you can only earn it. And that's why I respect Oscar so much.
Jason, let the fight fans know why they should tune in on ESPN.
You've got to show up, you've got to tune in, because this is my chance. I come from a small place in Donegal in Ireland. I've made it a long way to be main event on ESPN for Golden Boy Promotions. And this is my first title fight, and I'm willing to get in there and give it absolutely everything I got. And you're going to see one hell of a performance. And you're going to see El Animal go hardcore on March 23rd.
Jason Quigley, the Mexican-Irish superstar. Thank you, Jason. Always a pleasure, my man.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.